Good morning, everybody. Oh, I forgot to give Ezzy her Kong. Hang on. There you go. I filled it with some treats and peanut butter so to keep her busy for a little bit. I hope you guys are having a good day. It's going to be a hot one everywhere, so make sure you stay inside, stay hydrated, just be careful. I'm only going out because I have a nail appointment. My lady was sick on Wednesday and she's doing me today. So other than that, I'm inside in the air conditioning, of course, when I have to take her out. But right now we just go out, do our business and come back. Let's see what's going on. Bonus days have started. If you don't know what bonus days are, it's for every $50 you spend, you get a $5 coupon to use next month. So if you spend $50, you get $5. If you spend $100, you get two $5, and you can use them both at the same time. The key is, to me, to make, and let me see if I'm up live on these. I don't know if I am or not. It's not showing up. Oh, there it is on that one. All right, I've got it on that. Let me see. There it is on that one. No, had to turn that down. And there I am, finally. Okay, got it. Got both of them up. The key is to make your list and then do it strategically. Spend enough. If you've got a small list and it's only just over $50, then you want to take and order what you need and save the rest for next month where you can use your coupon. So, you kind of got to play it a little bit. I will be ordering because I think I'm going to need some more paper. Hey, Carol. And there was something else. I was thinking of some dyes that I might want to try. I'm debating between the new layering leaves or what's the other one? I think it's one that's for Christmas. I don't know. I'm looking for leaf dyes, and I'm looking for a specific kind of leaf dye. I haven't checked mine to see what I have. I may not have to order it. We'll see. So that's what's on the agenda for me this weekend. I'm hoping I want to make at least the base for a mini album, and I have to start sewing on a table topper for my friend. I'm going to visit her in 2 weeks' time, and I want to take a table topper to her. So I need to get sewing on that. So I might try and do some of that tomorrow. We'll see, because I've got to cut. It won't take any time to put it together. I mean, to sew the top. It's the rest of the thing. Putting it together, quilting it, and then putting the binding on. So I need to get going on that. What else? Other than that, not a whole lot. I have a very busy week next week. Lots of things going on. And it's like unbelievable that, it's like, okay, I've got an appointment on Monday, an appointment on Tuesday. I don't know if I have anything other than water aerobics. I don't think I have anything on Wednesday. Thursday I have class. And then Friday I don't have anything. So busy week for me. All right, I'm going to go ahead, get started and flip this down because I'm doing some watercoloring today and it's going to take some time to dry. So I'm going to kind of flip between the two cards, but you'll see. So hang on as I do this. If you get dizzy, close your eyes and I'll tell you when to open them. Okay. There's that. I try to cover up both. And I've got to switch it. And can I? No, I can't. I try zooming in and you know what it does? It gives me this strange screen with all this stuff. So I don't know what it is. All right, you can open your eyes. You just got to kind of look at the mess on the sides. I told you I would take a sketch And I ran across this one and I liked it. And I thought it would work for what we're going to do. I did change this because I realized afterwards that 2 inches wasn't wide enough. So my card base is going to be, once it's folded, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have a layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. Now I put polka dots all over this because you can use a embossed layer or a piece of DSP. I'm going to use embossed layers because I want to show you, if you don't have DSP and you don't want to buy any, pull out your embossing folders and use that. And then this piece here is 2 1/2 by 4. So just be aware of that. And I don't know if I picked that up, cut a piece of that. Yes, I did, I think. I don't know. All right. I am using the translucent florals dies, and I've cut the smaller one, the larger one, and I've cut 2 of the stems. This stem was just too funky looking, so I cut a bigger one, and what I did was I traced around the outside of the die, and then I cut it out. I tried to cut inside the lines. So just so you know, that's where that came from. I have a palette here to put my re-inker in. I'm going to start with my stems, and I'm using Granny Apple Green, so I'm going to put it there. Just a drop. You don't need a lot, so you don't want to put a lot down. And then what I'm going to take and do is I'm going to wet my stems. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush. And I don't know, I thought I had grabbed another small one, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to wet this because I don't want it as dark as this. So I'm going to kind of play it out. And I'm just kind of tapping the color on. It will bleed. And that's good because that's how you get different variations in the color. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to clean my brush here, and hopefully I need now I need to add some, I'm going to do these, and I'm going to use Petal Pink. I went looking for colors I could use, and I did a search for colors that would go with Petal Pink, and one that showed up was one that we had several years ago, and as it worked out, I still had some, so I pulled it out to use with it. You know, just kind of play with your colors. They don't have to. All right, let me get this wet and go in here. All right, and I've already got inky fingers, but I'm going to use my see how quickly that spreads? All right. And this is known as a wet on wet technique. I'm trying to get some variation in there. I may need some more re-inker. Okay. All right, I'm going to let that sit, and I'm going to take my heat tool and dry this some. So to do this, I have to be way up high. Oops. Because the tool will blow the water around. You also get a mottled look. Whew, that one went way away. This one is really trying to escape. Darn. Okay, I'm getting close to this one being dry. That one's looking pretty good. It's pretty dry. I may have put on more water than I needed. All right, I'm gonna flip this over and dry the back because that will help flatten it as well as dry it. I'm going to actually move it here. Well, dang it. There. I'm not worried about the green. I will move this one out of the water some. That one's almost dry. All right, this one's still got quite a bit wet. If you can get it out of the water, it'll dry faster. All right, I'm gonna flip this over. Flipping it over helps flatten it also. Well, all right, let me see. What do I have? All right, I've got this that's pretty dry. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in with some of these and pick it up. I have to avoid the green. So I'm adding some layers here. That one spot there. This one's looking pretty good. I'll use some little pieces here on this. There. Here's this. So, you know, I'm making use of the ink that's down here and just adding some more layers of color. All right, I need this one. And that's all I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside so it can dry, and we'll work on the other one. All right, so let me move this out of the way. I'll put it behind me. And hopefully by the time we're ready to do that card, it'll be dry. All right, the next card I'm doing, and hopefully I don't have any issues. The next card I'm going to do uses the Cheerful Daisies. I've got it stacked up over here. Oh, there goes my inside. Cheerful Daisies. Now, and I'm going to do it in Blueberry Bushel. I chose the outline, and I warped my mat, so I'm going to hold it down while I'm chatting. from the heat. I chose the big one and I stamped it. And I played around with something. Years ago, we had the basic gray. And I still have the old pad and the old refill because I don't use it very often. And I stamped it on just plain cardstock. And I put water on it and I dried it. And it didn't smear. I thought it would work. So if you have the old basic gray, black would have been too harsh for me. But if you have the old basic gray, you can use this for watercolor, stamping an image to watercolor. All right, now I'm going to pull in my palette and I'm going to add 1 drop of the Blueberry Bushel. Now I'm going to really water this out because it's really dark. Now I'm going to get fresh water because I don't want my blue and green mixing. Okay, there. Now, hopefully this is clean. I'm going to start with putting down some water, and I'm staying inside the petals. All right, I'm going to do a few. Then I'm going to take, well, this is not the one I wanted, but let's see how it works. I'm going to really pull this out as I don't want it too dark. All right, and then I'm going to tap in here. And I did every other one so that they wouldn't bleed into each other. All right, I'm going to, hang on, I need another, here we go. I can use this to move that paint around. And that's the key. You want to move it around. And if you get a blob, just keep going over it with water. See, I probably put too much on some of these. But the other thing you can do is take a paper towel, all right, and you can blot it up some so that it's not as dark. And then you go back in with water and you soften it a little bit. But I wanted the lines to show up on the daisy. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to use some more water. And I'm going in every other one. And now I have some ink on here, so I'm going to just tap it in there. And then I'm going to come in with my smaller one. Spread it around like so, clean it off, and then you can take your brush, and if it's got too much water, you can pick up some, tap it off, and then that way it doesn't take it as long to dry. And I don't mind the variation in color because the flowers have that. All right, so let me go here with this one, and now I can go to here and do this one, and here and do that one. I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I'm going to add some blue, and I'm going to come in with my small one and spread it around. And if I want it darker, I just pick up some and go back in. You don't want too much variation in color. It will lighten as it dries. There, all right. Now it's time to move on. This is a great thing to do on a day like today. Just stamp a bunch of images, watercolor them. I think I went outside the line there. I did. Let me get it off because I don't want it outside the petal. That's the thing you have to be careful of. And okay, I'm now gonna do the last two and we'll see. Okay, here's this. Ooh, there's a lot there. I did the whole brush when I shouldn't have. And I'm not going to cut this out. I'm just going to leave it like this. Ooh, that's pretty. I really like that. I got to get these out of the way. All right. And don't throw your palette away. Mark it somehow with the color that you use, because even though it dries, you can put water in there and reactivate it, which is a great way to extend the use of your palette. All right. And that's pretty dry. So I'm going to take my center and some daffodil. Now, I am using watercolor paper on this one, and I used watercolor paper on the other. That's why it did what it did. I'm going to stamp that in the middle, and because it's watercolor paper, I kind of rocked it to give it some interest. I am not going to put any water on that because I want it to have the texture. Now, when I stamped this, I used the Misty because it needs to be, all right, now, it needs to be held in place so you can double stamp it. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to get my other bar magnet. I put it away thinking I don't know what, but I have a bar magnet that's really strong. And then I used, it's an old stamp set, I use Special Moments, and I use Just a Little High from Me. And I'm going to put that on my card. This is a retired set, but I love the sentiments in it. I have a couple of those, and it's just like, well, I'm going to use it. Now, let me put this in the other room so I don't mess it up. All right. And this one may be too close, so I'm going to take it off. All right, I am going to ink this up. And it's a little tiny stamp, so I've got to be careful. All right. I just put my finger in it. I do that all the time. Oh, great. I didn't know if I was going to have to do it, stamp it again, and I don't. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to put my magnets away. Get this out of the way. All right. This is done. All right. I have a card base. All right. And when I did this, I went looking for colors that would go with Blueberry Bushel. And I have chosen Boho Blue, and I took the exposed brick embossing folder. Now, I will be honest with you, I have 3 current embossing folders. That's it. So I will be using a lot of different embossing folders that I have from my stash that I like, because I'm not real fond of any of the others. All right, so I'm going to put this on the card. I'm going to pull, let me pull in the, which is this. Whoops. All right. And this has to go on with double-sided tape because it's embossed. So I'm going to add that. Like so. All right. One more side. There we go. And I know you guys struggle with, I should have cut this thing down. You struggle with putting down a layer even. So I've been showing this on my videos on YouTube, and I'll show it here. Take a corner and fold your edges or the pieces back. Go down to the opposite corner and fold those edges back. So now you've exposed the sticky tape on 2 corners. Take your piece, and I have to look at it. This looks right. All right, I'm going to put it down, and notice my flags from my sticky tape are out, but I can hold this here because my fingers are on the tape that's still down there, and then line this up so that it's even and I'm happy with it. I press down with the left one and just kind of work my hand across. So then it's stuck in place. Then I take and very carefully pull out the tabs. You do not want to pull fast or hard or have your hand where you're pulling, because I did that the other day. It will break these off, and then you have to go in with your pokey tool to get it. And that's a great way to get your layer down even. And I've got some sticky tape here that I'm just going to push under. All right, so there's that. Now, this goes on here, and because this is embossed, I'm going to put this on, and because I've used water on it, I'm going to use my double-sided tape on this also. All right. And then we'll do the other card, and it's done the same way. I'm going to give it as much time as I possibly can to dry. I was really surprised that I found a color to go with Petal Pink. This works really well if you have light and dark colors. So that's what I was looking for. And I tried several combinations. Now this is small enough, I'm not going to use the tabs, but if you struggle, just use the tab. Just remember, opposite corners, not the same corner. That won't work because it'll stick down. Hey, Peggy. All right, so here we go. All right. And then this is just a little bit at the bottom, like so. There it is. Now, to me, it needs some gems. The silver ones would be perfect, but I don't know if my silver ones are up here. Yes, they are. I love these. I'm going to have to go looking for them from someplace else because I really like these little tiny pearls. So I'm going to add some silver pearls on here. Come on, there. And then I'm going to put 2 down here, just to kind of draw your eye to that flower. And there's the first sketch idea. All right, now let me move this out of the way and let's pull in the next card. And here's my card base. This time I just have a piece of white cardstock, and I used Petal Pink for the to do the flowers, and I don't know if I'm going to use them all. It may be too much. So I went looking, and guess what color came up? Oh, I used the crosshatch embossing folder. This one is retired, but it's one of my favorites. It's subtle, and I like that. Well, the color that came up to go with Petal Pink is Grapefruit Grove. So if you've got Grapefruit Grove and Petal Pink, pull them out and use them. I'm going to start pulling out some of those. I have some that are left, but I only have a few sheets of them. I did sell my cardstock re-inker pad if I had a full package of the paper. If I didn't, I kept it, and I'll start using some of those because some of those colors will go with what we have now. And I love showing you how you can use what you have and get some new color combos. Okay, remember, I'm going to fold back my corners, or the tape on opposite corners, so I can put this on down straight. The other thing you can do, and this is harder to do, you can put this in like your score tool or your MISTI, but this piece would have to go all the way up for it to work. And it doesn't. All right. So I put down my left hand, and I do my left hand because I'm right-handed, and I have a tendency to hold it better with my right hand. All right, I'm going to pull out, almost did that one bad, my pieces. That side's stuck down. It's not going to go anywhere once you stick those corners down. And that's what I like. Just make sure you push down on those corners. And there we go. On, much straighter. Usually mine's a little cockeyed, but I'm getting better. I'm going to take and I'm going to put, oh, I don't want to put this on yet. All right, first thing I want is my sentiment. And I pulled in Just Because from A Dozen Thoughts because I love that little sentiment, and I decided to use it. And I'm going to use my Grapefruit Grove to stamp it. I think I can get into it. Well, maybe not. Oh, that one opened up easy. All right. You know what? I can't do this yet. I got to get my flowers on because that will determine where I stamp that. That pad's going to be a booger. I'm going to move that over. Let me get my flower pieces. And some of them are still wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tweezers and dry them. The other set you could use for this, if you don't have the translucent florals, is we had a set of flower dies, like Florist something Florist. So you could use those. Any die flower dye would work. I just wanted a fun flower. And see, I just have spots, like this had a spot there. That was still wet. I hate to do this off camera, but everything's blowing. All right, there's that. You just have to be careful with these little pieces. I may use the other side of that because it's really dark. That's the advantage. You can use whichever side you want. Almost. This one has a few spots of water I can see. If you heat it from both sides, it helps heat it and evaporate that water. This one looks pretty dry, but I do make sure that it's dry. And if one side looks better than the other, use the side that you want. One more. It's the last big one. And I don't think this one. Okay, there we go. Now, let's start with the big one. And I have that. Now, tip for putting this together. Hey, Sharon. Obviously, everything's okay so far. Sharon is down in Texas where the hurricane's supposed to hit. So I was a little worried about her. I contacted her last night. If you look at this die, it's basically a top and two bottoms. So what I do is I put it like this, you know, with one at the top and two at the side. I flip the other one and put it together like that. That one doesn't have enough, so I've got to use that side. Now I have to decide, do I like that side with it? I think I like that side. I don't know which is the right side. And I need some glue dots because you're going to put this together with glue dots. The other thing, this has to be dry or the glue dots will not stick. So let me get a glue dot on here. If this is wet, those glue dots won't stick. All right. And your flower will be falling apart. All right, so there's that. So there's a flower. And this, I'm going to put this one on this way. This is my stem. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put it like so. And you know, I might not use the double pieces. There's that and that. Let's see. Let me have a glue dot, and I have to pull that one off because it's really tiny. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, but I think I'm going to leave this single. So I'm going to choose the ones I'm going to use and stick it down. I think it looks cool like that. I like that one. All right, this one's just slightly darker. And I always look at my glue dots because some of them are a little smaller than the others. Yeah. All right. Now, I don't know if I like that on there. I'm going to leave it though, because it's there. I can't put this on here because if I go to stamp it, let's see. You know what? I may not use the big one at all. You just have to play and see what you'll like. Don't you rip on me. I didn't want to come. There's that. And then I need this one. And that one. Oh, come on. There it comes. Like so. I'm not going to do anything yet because I think I'm going to put the just because down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick those up when I stamp it. Yeah, Carol, you are so right. A lot of scary weather. All right. I'm just going to pick those up. And hopefully this is straight. Dang it. I'll glue those down once I get this on here. Close enough. All right, let me close this up. There. And then I'm going to take a little bit of glue and I'm going to put a little dot. Okay. A little dot underneath of this one. Of course, now I got to wait for it to come out. Let me squeeze it off over here. I haven't used it in a while. There it comes. When I don't use it in a while, it clogs up on me. All right, so I'm going to put that one down, and I'm just going to kind of pull the stems off to the side so it doesn't interfere with the sentiment. Okay. All right. And then this one's going to go on. And again, it's got to go on with the double-sided tape. I'm looking for my, and I can't find it. I'll find it later. I'm looking for my piece on there to go on the back. Oh, there it is. It's behind that flower. So now I have a couple of flowers left I can do something else with. But I think this one, and I may heat it and take this off because you can, and just make some more. Yeah, you can heat your double-sided tape and your glue dots and release them. It doesn't work on glue, unfortunately. So my daughter and her family are supposed to leave tomorrow to go to Mexico. Her partner and his whole family, they're all going down, and they've rented a big villa, and they're supposed to be down there for a week in Mexico. I don't know if they're still going. I haven't talked to her today to know. So, all right. Let's put this down here. And then this needs some gems. And the gold ones would work, but I have bigger ones that are downstairs. They're the pearls. I'm pretty certain they're downstairs. Let me see if I have anything else that will work. That's gold, because I think gold would match it. Oh, this would work. And I have 2 gold ones left. Perfect. So I'm going to put one there. And one there. All right. Not many of those left. It's retired also. So let me pull in my other card. And there's the sketch idea for today. Simple layout. Used in embossing and just went with the idea of, thanks, Carol. And you can see I use the same sketch for them. So it's a fun idea. And this is a great way. What is that florist set? I'm going to use it because I love it. Now that I've played with some of it, I have some ideas. Paper florist dies. That's what it is. Paper florist dies. And I love some of these. Like, I mean, there's some great dyes in here that you can use for making flowers. So that might be, I've been looking for a leaf and I think that one might work. I'm going to have to see. I just want the things, the stitched lines to come out on it. So if you have that, you can use that to make these cards also. And any large flower you can do in there. So I hope I've given you some ideas. Remember, if you have the basic gray, you can stamp in watercolor and it won't bleed. There aren't many inks that will do that. So I'm going to be using that one. Oh, thanks, Sharon. Well, I will be thinking about you. Is it going to hit you or is it going to veer off and miss you? That was the thing we didn't know about yesterday. So there's some fun ideas for you. And I hope you, like I said, I'm going to heat this and take this one off and make them, I like them better single. I like that. Look, I can use that for some other things. I'll find some other colors. Ooh, I'd love to put petal pink with early espresso. So I might have to do that with early espresso. And if not, there you go. Grapefruit Grove, if you have it. All right, I'm going to get ready and flip this up. So close your eyes and I'll tell you when to open them. Oh, what did that thing do? There we go. All right, hold on. Sorry, it was doing something weird. It was giving me a strange message. Okay. Oh, it was browned out or grayed out on your screen, so that's good. All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I will be live on Wednesday on YouTube at noon, and I'll be back here next Saturday at 10:30. After that, the week after, I think I'm here then too. Yes, I am. It's the week after that I won't be here. So you got one more week, and then I'm gone for 2 weeks. I'm visiting my girlfriend, and then I'm babysitting the girls. So you guys have a fabulous weekend. Sharon, you stay safe, and I will see you either next Wednesday or Saturday. Bye.